Well, hi guys, and welcome to Plan Like a Boss. My name is Sophie Musamechi. I'm from Real Entrepreneur Mums, and we have an incredible guest presenter, guest host, trainer, whatever you want to call her, Bianca Van Riet, who is our community leader in the Northern Beaches. Bianca, say hi.
Hi everyone, so excited to be able to be part of this training and welcome to Plan Like a Boss.
Yeah, so you're going to learn a little bit more about Bianca, who is the most incredible children's and adult life coach from Be Your Truth, a little bit later. But I'm going to kick off our first session today. So we are talking all about the whole Plan Like a Boss is all about your New Year Business Kickstart program. So this is about getting really clear on where you want to go in your business in the next 12 months. We're going to help you today with looking at your vision for your business. So important to know where you're going. You know, it's like setting a destination in a car. If you don't actually put the end destination, you could go around and around and around and never actually achieve and never get to where you want to go. So we're going to create clarity and we're going to make sure we build you up. So we want you to believe in you, because that's the only thing that's going to stop you. And over the next couple of sessions, we're going to be looking at your 12-month plan, your action plans, so that you can absolutely win and kick it. And don't forget, you've got the pop-up Facebook group where I'm going to be hanging out, Bianca's hanging out, and also Nicole, who you're going to meet in the next session. So you can jump in there, ask us any of your questions. Now, before we get started, you should have a workbook as well that came with this video. So make sure, if you haven't downloaded it and printed it off, pause the video right now and go and do that and have the workbook with you so that you can be walking through each step with us, taking heaps of notes, writing it down. Something that happens with your brain, hey Bianca, when you actually write down, you remember it so much more than if you just sit there and absorb it through sound. And we're going to make sure that you leave these sessions with a kick-ass attitude, that you know that you're absolutely going to make these things happen that we're going to talk you through. So we've used very simple concepts. We don't want to overwhelm you. We know the life of an entrepreneur woman, an entrepreneur mum. It's crazy, right? So you're running a business. Some of us are still running a job. We've got family. We've got commitments. We've got life. And so we wanted to chunk it right down into little bite-sized chunks for you to make it easy for you to digest. And you can pause the recording, you can go back and watch it later as a reference point, and then you can hang out with us in the pop-up group, like I said, and ask us any questions that you have. And don't forget, it's not too late if you want to add your friends as well, so you can send them a link to join. Just go to remums.com/plan-like-a-boss. That's not hard at all. But let's get started. So I'm just going to share my screen and share a bit of a presentation with you. But as I said, make sure you're following along with your workbook that you would have given out to you. So let's get ready. But one of the most important things I want to talk to you about is a little bit of housekeeping. So I want you to meet Jane. So hi to Jane. So during this training, Jane's going to write a couple of notes. She's going to fast forward some little bits that she thinks that aren't really important, and she'll think about doing some of the actions that we talk about today. But you know what? At the end of it, she'll do nothing. She's going to go back to her old ways, and she's going to think that I just can't do this whole business thing. Don't be like Jane, right? Don't be like Jane. Now I want to introduce you to Mary. I love Mary. Mary's my mom's name, by the way. So during this training, Mary is going to take lots of notes, and she's going to complete every section within her workbook. She's going to read them again and again, make sure she really understands them, and she has really immersed herself in it. Some of these are backwards. Mary's going to ask lots of questions in the pop-up Facebook group to make sure that she is relating what we're talking about in a tangible way for her specific business. Mary's going to study the techniques, and she's going to put what she's learning into place immediately. She's not going to wait and throw it away and go, I'll pick it up next week. She's going to do it straight away. And she practices and practices again until she becomes an expert at planning, because practice is the key. It's not about perfection. It's just doing it again and again and again till you get better. And Mary sees result in her business. She hits her goals and she inspires others to do the same. So guys, ladies, mums, women, I want you to be like Mary, because being like Mary is the difference between getting what you want and staying exactly where you are today. Wouldn't you agree, Bianca?
Absolutely. Let's be Mary and say goodbye to Jane.
So over to Bianca. Bianca's going to kick off and help you with understanding more about vision and belief.
Thank you, Sophie. So welcome everyone. As I said, my name is Bianca and I am the owner and founder of Be Your Truth. I left the corporate world back in 2010 and found the world of mindset coaching and neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and my life absolutely changed. I immersed myself completely into it, started coaching people back in 2010 when most people still didn't actually know what the concept of a life coach was. And through that journey, the one thing I really always was passionate about was taking this knowledge to kids. So in 2016, I went off and launched my business, and because I was working for someone else before that, and I became a children's coach. And that's what I do today. I focus on mindset, teaching both adults and children about how our mind works. Because when we understand how our mind works, life just becomes a lot more simpler. And it's like the penny drops and it's like, aha, that's why I do what I do. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about our vision and our beliefs. So why is it that certain people get certain results and other people get other results? Well, it's really simple. The thing is that what we think about is what we bring about. So you might have heard is like what you focus on is what you get. And the interesting thing is that a lot of people focus on what they don't want rather than what they do want. So when I say to someone like, what do you want in your business? And they go, oh, I don't want to be bankrupt. Well, you focus on that, you'll absolutely attract it. So one of the cool techniques you can use is visualization. I use this for both my children coaching and my adult coaching. And I say to them, like, instead of always focusing on what you don't want to achieve, start getting a clear vision in your mind as to what it is you do want to achieve. Because it's a fun way to think about your business. And so when you actually immerse yourself into it, and when I talk about visualizing, I literally mean like put yourself into that position as if it's happening now. Imagine like what can you see? What can you hear? What can you feel? Like what's like, and I say intensify it. Like, are there people around you? Say your vision is to get onto a stage. Imagine like thousands of people clapping away at you because you've delivered this kick-ass presentation around your business, and really connect to it. Because when you do that, that is when we actually are able to achieve our goals a lot, and our goals a lot faster. Athletes do this the whole time. They don't think about what's going to go wrong. They actually think about themselves successfully completing activity, and they do it over and over and over again. So, imagine if, with business, especially as small businesses, it can get quite lonely out there. What can happen is, we are working on our business all day, and especially if you might have worked in an office before, it starts feeling a little bit isolated. I know I've definitely felt that way. And that's why, you can think, well, what do? I want my team around me, but I also want my business. Well, visualize a way that you can have a team around you. And that for me has definitely been networking. With the Real Entrepreneur Mums group, it's like I have my virtual team around me and my team and my marketing team and my advertising team and my HR team, because we all have each other's back. And so, I just say, imagine being surrounded by such incredible women, because that's one of the ways that you can build your business. So let's think about this. When you believe in you and you believe in your business, you start getting the results you want. So as I said, our belief systems determine the results we will get in our business and our life. And so if you're going, well, I don't know what my belief systems are, just look at the results you're getting in your business. Are you actually kicking those goals that you said you were going to kick? Or are you perhaps slightly off the ball mark? Or are you nowhere near the ball mark? Now, that doesn't mean that you're being a Jane. It just might mean that you have belief systems that are coming up for you that are not working for you. You see, our belief systems are formed from the day that we're born. and we can get them from our family, our environment. We can overhear them from other people. It's from our community. And a lot of our values and beliefs are picked up actually unconsciously. We can consciously create them, but most of them are unconscious beliefs. Now, you have supportive beliefs, and the supportive beliefs are amazing. These are the things that we believe positively within ourselves, within our business, and what we can achieve. And they really help us get the results that we want in our lives. They really work for us. But unfortunately, and we all have them in some way or other, we also have limiting beliefs. And the limiting beliefs are the beliefs that hold us back in achieving what we want in life. Now, I want you just to stop and think. Think about your parents and think about their views of perhaps business when you were growing up. Now, if they had maybe a few negative beliefs around, it's not safe to run your own business, or you need to work for someone else or whatever, are those showing up in your business today? Or maybe your parents were entrepreneurs and they ran successful businesses themselves, and that might reflect in your own business. Or the other area to look at is also money, because believe it or not, our money directly does impact our business. Now, I know I picked up my parents' beautiful, habits and beliefs around money. And so they used to always believe that you spend your money before you earn it. And they both also ran their own businesses when I was younger, but both of them went bankrupt. So for me, when I launched my business, left the corporate world and started working for a small company, I had these beliefs that I can never run my own business because your own business equals failure. And through working on my mindset, releasing that, and then just start focusing on what it is I want rather than what I don't want, I was able to achieve a successful business. And just recently, I went on my own where I'd left my part-time work, and I found myself saying, "Oh, this is so scary. This is so scary." But the reality is, when I kind of stopped and thought about it, I thought, what are you really scared about? And I realized that fear and excitement, it kind of just got a little bit caught up. So we can quite often tell ourselves stuff without even realizing what we're saying. And that creates a neural pathway. And a neural pathway, believe it or not, is that little connection in our brain that we can create just through visualization. But if they're not positive beliefs or supporting neural pathways, it can keep us stuck. So the best way around a belief is your belief you need to have the right attitude to it. And the attitude is that positive attitude. It's not like, what do I not want to have? It's like, what do I want to have? And so when I thought about, what are you scared about? And I was like, maybe I can't make money. And I asked myself, seriously, Bianca, do you really believe that? And I was like, absolutely not. I absolutely know I'm going to be successful in what I do because I am a successful person. And I switched my attitude like that. And then I found the minute I changed that attitude, the action came naturally. It was like this inspired action that I just wanted to do something on my business the whole time, because my belief is that I am successful, not that I may not be able to make money. It's like, of course I am. And the results are coming through. And the more the results come through, the stronger the belief comes. So with that in mind, the best way to change and kill some of those beliefs is to break them down. And the first thing is that we need to identify the fears. So fear and excitement come from the same place. And it's that it's quite hard sometimes to know the difference. And I always say that sometimes that you can have a little bit of a mixture of the two. Now, for me, really, fear is an acronym of false evidence appearing real. But for some of us, we can get really, really connected to it. So what I want you to do now, and I will pause for a second, is I want you to write down the top 3 things you fear in your business. Now, for some people, it's fear of success. What if I get too big? Other people, it might be a fear of failure. Another one is like a fear of not having enough time to do everything I want to do, or not being able to make money, or whatever it may be. I just want you to go with the top 3 that comes to you first, because those are generally the right ones. Now, if you're a person that doesn't like the word fear and you go, well, that's too strong, think about the 3 things that makes you nervous around your business then. I know that there's some people that go, well, there's nothing I'm fearful of. Well, that's fantastic. But you know what? Most of us are. So I'm going to stop talking now. You might want to just pause the recording for a second if you need some more time, and then just write down your top 3 fears around your business. Okay, and welcome back. Now, I want you to think about those 3 things that you fear in your business. And let's really, really break them down and think about, what do I want to focus on instead? So I want you to think about, when I eliminate my fear of not having enough money, it's going to create this one here, not having enough time, or being too successful, what will you have? So I want you to think about, what will you have instead if you were to eliminate those 3 fears? And you might actually write down, well, if I eliminate my fear of not having enough time, you can even break it down one by one. You can say, I will have a balanced life. If you say, I may not make enough money, you can say, I have a fear of not making enough money. You can write next to it is like, my business will be successful and I'll have abundance. If you have a fear of success, you can just say, I am confident being successful. So you could write down when you eliminate the fears, but also you can write down the opposites. What would the positives be? And I want you to focus on that, because when you have all of that, what's it going to give you around your business? It's a pretty cool exercise you can do at any time when any of your fears come up, or whenever you find yourself focusing on something that you don't want. Just stop, ask yourself what it is, and then think of the opposite. And then just keep repeating to yourself, I am a successful businesswoman. I have balance in my life. I create abundance. And as I said, the beauty of neural pathways is that the unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what we vividly imagine. So by visualizing and saying things out aloud, we will actually trick the brain into believing it. It creates that neural pathway, and life becomes a lot easier. Pretty cool, hey?
Very.
Anyway, time to pass back to Sophie for the next step.
Thank you, Bianca. So if you need a little bit more time in writing that out, just press pause right now and then come back to us when you are ready. If you're ready to go or you come back, welcome back. So belief is really, really important. If you believe you can or you can't, you are absolutely right. It's one of my favorite sayings, and I always say that to my kids. I can't do something. I'm like, well, if you don't think you can, of course you can't. And they look at me. I'm like, well, if you think you can, you can. And to hear them now start to use that language back to me is quite amazing. So, that also passes on to your children too. So I want you to have a think about something. I want you to think about the last time that, I might just leave it here, the last time that you did something that really put yourself out of your comfort zone. Could be, something really extravagant, like, going skydiving, or maybe it was just, I don't know, doing first Facebook Live, whatever it might be. And I want you to think about how that felt. How did it feel just before you did it? Were you nervous? Were you excited, like Bianca said? But then after you did it, how did that feel? When you pushed through that resistance that was holding you back, how did that feel? And what shift did you notice in yourself after you did it? So I want to share a little story with you because it relates really well right here. Last year, my husband and I were lucky enough to go to South Africa, which is where Bianca's from, which is quite funny, but ironic. And we decided to climb Tabletop Mountain. Now, my husband's quite fit. I'm not unfit, but I'm not, the most gym robusting person, but I play a bit of sport. And I remember we were looking at, for those who haven't been to Table Mountain, there's this massive mountain in South Africa, and you can see it from Cape Town, and it is incredible, Bianca. Like, where you come from is amazing. And, so everyone's like, well, it says it takes about 2 hours to do the walk, and we were going to walk up all the way up to the top. But in Australia, whenever you go on a bushwalk, it says it takes like an hour and you finished in 20 minutes. And whenever it says like it's, requires a moderate level of fitness, it's like super easy and your kids can do it, really quick. So we were like, oh, we're going to do this in like an hour and a half. Like we were so, sure. And everyone's like, oh, have you got enough water? Got to take heaps of water. People have died on this thing. And we're like, what? Whatever. So we had a couple of like the little bottles of water from the mini bar from the hotel, and off we go. And we've got our backpack on. We left relatively early. But I tell you what, when you actually get to the bottom of the hill and you're looking up, it's quite a different thing. And the steps are massive, right? So they're big steps that you have to take. And very quickly, my internal chatter starts going and I start thinking, oh my God, what have I signed ourselves up for? What am I doing? And it's kind of like when you have you set yourself a big goal and you're all gung-ho and you walk out of your goal setting session, or, you've written them up and you said, this is what I'm going to do. And then you wake up the next morning like, actually, I don't know if I really mean that I want to go that big. Did I tell anyone? Maybe if I don't tell anyone, then I can just, I can shrink my goal and do something I feel more comfortable with. And so that happened for us. So like I was probably 20 minutes on the way in, and, we were powering up and climbing up. It was getting hot. It was beautiful, but it was a hot day. And then the internal chatter starts going. I'm like, oh my God, am I really going to do this? Am I prepared? Do I have enough water? Do we have enough to eat? And then I start thinking about those stories people were telling me about. People actually died doing this. And I even thought about going back. I remember we get to a certain point, I kept looking back thinking, oh, am I halfway? Or maybe I could still go back now, because it is full on, it's hard work. But I started to then think, well, what will people think about me? I've told them that I'm going to do this, social media, I've posted photos saying we're going to do this. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking, crap, I don't know if I want to do it anymore. Have you ever felt that way when you set a goal for yourself and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to do this anymore because it feels uncomfortable? And it was hot, we were sweaty, it was not very nice at all. And we were 50 minutes in and I said to Daniel, we've got to be halfway, right? They said it was going to take 2 hours. Like, we've got to be at least halfway. And this guy comes running past and he's running down, right? Running down. And he heard what I said. He goes, no, you're not halfway yet. Keep going. And I was like, oh, my God, are you running down? He goes, yeah, I've already run up and I'm running down. And so then that made me feel even more sick, feel more scared about what we were going to do. There was hardly any shade. I started to panic. My legs started to shake, when they overwork or they go, what the hell is going on? And then I started to get really, really concerned that we'd made the wrong decision. We were halfway through our water. We weren't even halfway up. And then something happened to me. And I remember I just took a step back for a minute and I had a look around. And I saw there were so many other people doing it, right? There were people well in front of us, people coming up behind us, and I could see that they were doing it. So I started to realize that, well, it's possible, right? All of a sudden, this big goal that was scaring the hell out of me, other people were doing it, which meant that it was possible. I saw evidence that they could do it, but I knew it wasn't going to be easy. The thing was that I had support. I had Daniel with me, right? He had my back if anything did go wrong. And I realized that what was going on was all in my head. And so I remember thinking, I'd set this big goal. Sure enough, it was tougher than I thought it was going to be. But I wasn't going to let my inner dialogue kind of scare me out of it. And then what I had to do was I had to tell my little inner, you can call your little itty bitty shitty committee sometimes, I had to tell it to sit down and shut the hell up, because it was trying to keep me safe, but I didn't want safe. I wanted big. I wanted to achieve this big goal that people say is amazing. So once I told it to sit down, shut up, I'm doing this, everything changed. All of a sudden, my legs didn't hurt as much anymore. Once I realized, closed that door, there was no way I was going. I stopped looking behind me and I only kept looking up. And the moment I became 100% committed to what I was doing, it was like just one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. It didn't get any easier though. It got harder because the higher you get up, the steeper it is as well. But I tell you what, when you get to the top and you look over the edge and you see what you have achieved and you look back over everything that you did and you're hot and you're sweaty and you stink, that feeling is like nothing else. It just feels incredible. And you did it, right? You were the one that did it. You had the support of someone else around you. or a group, but you did it. You went after your goal. You didn't give in. You went over all of the obstacles that came your way and you actually achieved your goal. And I tell you what, that is the same for setting massive goals for your business. Fear will come in, however you want to describe it, nerves, fear, little feeling that you get in your stomach. It's going to come. It happens to me. It happens to Bianca still, right?
Yeah.
And we just have to keep pushing through, surround ourselves with the right people, and tell that little voice of yours to sit down and shut up because you're going to do this anyway. All right, so let's think about your business now. How does that story, and I'm sure you were following along and you were thinking about something that you'd done or a goal that you'd set, and you went through that same process. But let's look at your business now. Where are you right now in your business? But where do you really want to be? Now, if you knew that you couldn't fail, you just knew that you couldn't fail at all, and you had all the resources, all the support that you could ever want, where would you want to be in 5 years' time? So what I want you to do now, it's time to get really crystal clear on what your mountain is. What does that look like? And it might be 5 years for you, it might be 3 years, it might be a specific goal that you want to hit. But if you knew you couldn't fail, think of it that way. There's no way you can fail, and you had everything available to you to make it happen. Where would you want to be? Now I want you to go to your workbook and go to your 5-year vision page, and you're going to go through these questions and answer each one of them. And there might be other ones that you think of as well. So what problem do you solve for your customers better than anyone else? Now, by the way, you can draw this out, right? So I actually like to draw. I get big pieces of paper and cover my desk, and then I start drawing pictures, or I start writing keywords out, or whatever. However you like to work, do that. Or do something totally different. If you're not used to drawing pictures, draw some pictures and see what comes out. But some of these questions will help you with thinking about what it is that you want to achieve in the next 5 years. So what problems do you solve for your customers better than anyone else? What is your company mission, and how will you achieve it? How big is your company? What are the employees? How many customers? What locations? Are you Australia? Are you global? Where are you? What products or service will you offer? How will you make money? What income streams will you have? Your core offer might not be the only thing that you have in the next 5 years. So what does your company structure look like? What does your team look like? Like Bianca said, her team, her HR, her finance, they're actually all members of Real Entrepreneur Mums. We just use each other's businesses, but you might have an assistant, What does your team look like that enables you to have that business vision? What partnerships or joint ventures are you going to be looking for or want to take? What do your expenses look like? That's really important to know. Where do you spend most of your money? And what type of celebration are you going to have when you hit this goal, right? When you get to this 5-year or whatever the goal is for you, what type of celebration will you have? Who's going to be there? And the most important thing, what will achieving this vision mean to you, your lifestyle, and your family? And then I want you to give it a name. My 5-year vision plan is called my 100 community plan. 100 communities, my 100 community global plan, because I want 100 communities across the globe. So that's the name of it, and it resonates with me more than a 5-year vision. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause this video, spend the next 5, 10, 15, however long you need, and just be by yourself and go through each one of those questions and just brain dump everything you can think of. Draw pictures, get creative, whatever you need to do. Pause this video, and then when you've done that, come back and we're going to move on to the next bit. All right, did you pause me? Welcome back. How did you go? Hey, how was that activity? It's amazing when you actually spend the time, because we just get so caught up in the day-to-day of to-do lists and dropping kids off at school and gymnastics and all of that stuff. We don't take the time out to think about, actually, where am I going with this? Because if you're just getting stuck in the day-to-day, you're missing out on the bigger picture. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little visualization activity. So I want you to think about everything that you have just written down or drawn up. And I want you to get really comfortable in your seat. You might want to lay down, pause it right now and go get yourself really comfortable if you're not right. Make sure you're by yourself, if you're in your room or your office, wherever you want to be. And I want you to just sit back in your chair, nice and relaxed. Uncross your legs, put your feet flat on the floor, arms down, nice and relaxed. Take a couple of deep breaths in and out a couple of times so you're nice and relaxed. Close your eyes. And now I want you to think about your 5-year plan, whatever the name is. See it up in lights. And you are at your celebration party. You are celebrating with your family, your friends, that you have achieved this goal. Now I want you to look down at yourself. What are you wearing? You picked out a beautiful dress. Did you get your hair and makeup done? Did you buy those beautiful shoes you've been eyeing off? Did you get your nails done? What do you look like? Who's there celebrating with you? Is it your family, your partner, your kids, your friends, your business team? Are we there with you? As Real Entrepreneur Mums, I'd be celebrating with you. Is there champagne, cocktails? What's the view? Are you on a boat? Are you on the harbour? Are you at home? Now as you sit back and have a look around the room, have a look at everyone. Look how happy they are. They're there to celebrate you. They're there to celebrate all that you have achieved. They're there to celebrate your team and how amazing you work together and how you've had each other's backs and all that you've overcome and that you never gave up. And they're laughing and having a great time. How does it feel looking at all of them? Take a big breath in. You did it. You went after it. You made it happen. And it's time to celebrate. How does that feel? Now what I want you to do is when you're ready, I want you to open your eyes, pause this video, and in your notebook, I want you to write down everything you saw, everything you felt, everything you noticed. All right, so pause this video now and then come back when you're ready. All right, so welcome back. Now, how was that? Visualization is the most incredible tool. So if you can dream it, so if you can see it in your mind's eye, you can achieve it. You will achieve it. Anything is possible. If you add the belief, which Bianca talked about, you have your vision of where you want to go, the next step for you is to get into activity. So your thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, like I said, you can hold it in your hand. You can make it reality. You can sip that champagne with your friends. So when you know what you want, when you know where you're going, opportunities have a magical way of just showing up. The thing is that they were always there. It's just that you didn't know where you were going, so you didn't know when to say yes. But now you do. So all you need to do now is say yes when these opportunities come up and work your little butt off to make it happen. So massive, massive thank you. We did it. Woohoo!
Well done.
Did session number 1 all about vision and belief. We believe in you. We're excited for you to share your big 5-year vision with us, make sure you share it in the pop-up group so we can all see where it is you're going. And tomorrow you will receive the next video, and we'll be going through the next part of your workbook, which is looking at 12 months, getting really specific on what your goals are and how to break it down. So massive thank you from Bianca and myself, and you have everything that you need to make it happen. That was cool, hey Bianca?
Absolutely, well done, be proud. The magic has started.
We'll see you guys in the pop-up group. Bye.
Bye.